I'm Redfield. I'm glad we found you.
The fuck took you guys so long?
What exactly is the deal with Chris Redfield these days? Resident Evil is in a really weird place right now, and that's for sure. It's almost as if Capcom themselves don't know what to do with the franchise or its characters. A prime example of that can be seen in Chris Redfield. In 2017 alone, there has been 3 different portrayals of Chris Redfield, 2 of which even take place within the same universe. And the 3 different actors who've donned the bolder fist of Chris Redfield are Kevin Dorman in the film Resident Evil Vendetta, David Vaughn in Resident Evil 7, who was within the same age bracket and universe as the Vendetta Chris, I mind you, and lastly, Roger Craig Smith in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and my personal favorite portrayal of Chris throughout the years. Roger Craig Smith is also the actor who's had the most outings as Commander Redfield, appearing in Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil Revelations, and Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which is why it's surprising to me that he's not in Vendetta, since that falls more in line with Resident Evil 6 Chris than anything else. But that's the crazy thing. The regular actor is off doing a non-canonical crossover game, while the 2 portrayals of Chris thus far, Kevin Dorman and David Vaughn from the current timeline of the games, they're people with little to no experience as the character. Kevin Dorman did voice the character on Umbrella Chronicles, grant you, but David Vaughn has never been the characters. At least Kevin Dorman has been in Umbrella Chronicles. He's been in another Resident Evil title. I guess it's understandable, though, because of the more realistic tone and visuals of Resident Evil 7, but then why portray him as good old Chris in the film Vendetta?
If the virus really was that contagious, we'd all be dead already. Besides, quarantine takes too long, and I need you now. So don't worry. We'll get you to a hot shower and everything will be okay.
Same old Chris.
These odd creative choices and this just mismatch of talent is pulling the character of Chris in multiple directions, and it makes it unclear for us, the fans, how we should perceive Chris as a character. Should we see him as the action hero he's become and evolved into since Resident Evil 5? Or should we see him as your average way in over his head soldier as he's portrayed in Resident Evil 7? Or do you secretly want Resident Evil 5 Chris, Capcom? Isn't that why the Resident Evil 5 design is the one being used in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite? Because it stands the test of time. It's the one you guys feel the most appeal to, and RE5 is the most successful game in the franchise? Maybe that's why. It seems clear to me, at least, that you aren't sure what you want to do with Resident Evil. It shows in how you've been treating Chris this year across 3 different versions of the same character, and it makes it seem like this new approach in RE7, as much as I like it, won't last. So I'm going to leave you with a bit of advice, Capcom. My advice: bring Roger Craig Smith back, who's been with us for so long, and instead of trying to change Chris to fit your new narrative, find a way to weave the old Chris with the new narrative, then maybe things will look up for you. Also, low-key, bring Allison Court back for Resident Evil 2 Remake. The strike is over. I'd just like to say that. Anyways, if you guys want Chris to be the way we knew him in the past, the way he was evolved into, it just seems like he's had a progressive downgrade in Resident Evil 7. And I get that Capcom and a lot of the fans want things to get brought back to horror, but that doesn't necessarily mean he needs to start being afraid in the eyes of monsters and such. Like that moment in the new Not a Hero trailer where he says, "just another monster," but he almost says it as if he's frightened.
Just another monster.
See, you can still have the survival horror aspect without having Chris become just your regular old guy. You know, Chris can be level-headed, he can be confident, and he can be a strong character. But you see, the thing is, even in titles like RE5 and RE6, the things that made him strong weren't necessarily the fact that he could punch boulders. No, it was the fact that there was a constant flow of ammo to go around and you could just keep popping enemies off left and right. But even a strong character against monsters like these can still be vulnerable with lack of ammunition. And that's why he doesn't necessarily need to be going through all these massive changes. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.
And so I cried sometimes when I'm lying.